And warmly welcome to another exciting edition of AM Plus, brought to you from ABN TV from its correspondent office, Oshogbo, Osun State, Nigeria. As you know, I'm not the only one on the program AM Plus. My name is Bukola Olulushola, and here with me I have
I am Salapo Ayobami.
Okay.
Good morning.
We brought to you another exciting edition of AM Plus today. Just sit back and enjoy the program. But before we go, let's go straight to the newspaper highlights for the day. And don't forget, the newspaper highlights is where we bring to you the newspaper review for the week. I mean the daily newspaper from Nigeria. So sit back and enjoy the program. And here with me I have a Nigerian Tribune, Tuesday Nigerian Tribune, Ayo.
And I have Tuesday Vanguard newspaper with me.
So I'm on the front page of Nigerian Tribune. John Sirleaf wins Mo Ibrahim Prize for African Leadership. The details is on page 29 of Tuesday Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
On the front page of Tuesday Vanguard newspaper, our security solutions will stand test of time, Buhari.
Okay, on the page 7 of Tuesday Nigerian Tribune, suspected S-men killed 2 NSCDC operatives in Benue. 2 operatives of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, were killed by suspected herdsmen in Guma local government area of Benue State on Monday. The details is on page 7 of Nigerian Tribune.
On page 5 of Tuesday Vanguard newspaper, our security solutions will stand test of time, Buhari. Security agencies including service chiefs at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Buhari's statement came at the time Agbekoya Farmer Association vowed to deal with herdsmen. Our security solution will stand test of time, Buhari, page 5 of Tuesday Vanguard newspaper.
Okay, still on the Tuesday Nigerian Tribune newspaper, we have disbursed loans to 451 farmers, agric workers, says federal government. The federal government has disbursed loans through its National Social Investment Program, NSIP, to no fewer than 2,551 farmers, workers in the agricultural sector, as well as other small businesses across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. We have disbursed loans to 259,451 farmers, agric workers, says FG.
Groups kicks against renaming of federal roads. Federal government has been urged to revert to the old name of the federal road that cuts across Umueri, Anam, Nzam in Anambra State. The story is coming to you from page 13 of Tuesday Vanguard newspaper.
Okay, on page 33 of Tuesday Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Oyo local government election. APC members protest against alleged imposition of candidates. Hundreds of members of the All Progressives Congress APC in Oyo State on Monday stormed the party secretariat at number 1 Obafemi Awolowo Road, Okeado, Ibadan, to protest against the alleged imposition of candidates for the forthcoming local government election in the states. Oyo local government election, APC members protest against alleged imposition of candidates. The details of this story is on page 33 of Tuesday Nigerian Tribune. And still on page 34 of Tuesday Nigerian Tribune, man kills wife over alleged infidelity in Akwa Ibom. Ibiono community in Ibiono Ibom local government area of Akwa Ibom State was thrown into mourning as a middle-aged man, one Nkere Uta, alleged killed his wife Bella, 30, over alleged infidelity. Man kills wife over alleged infidelity in Akwa Ibom. The details is on page 34 of Tuesday Nigerian Tribune.
This one is coming to you on page 40 of Tuesday Vanguard newspaper. Insecurity, governors back presidency on state police. Governors of the 36 states of the Federation under the aegis of Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF, yesterday threw their weight behind the presidency on the decentralization of the police force in the country. Insecurity, governors back presidency on state police, page 40 of Tuesday Vanguard newspaper.
Okay, this one is coming from page 36 of Tuesday Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Alleged 4.7 billion naira laundering. Court resumes trial of Ladoja, ex-finance commissioner. The trial of former governor of Oyo State, Rashid Ladoja, charged with 4.7 billion naira money laundering, got underway in Lagos on Monday as the defense began cross-examination of another witness at Federal High Court. Alleged 4.7 billion naira laundering. Court resumes trial of Ladoja, ex-finance commissioner. The detail is on page 36 of Tuesday Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
Lastly, on Tuesday Vanguard newspaper, Nigeria experts worry over lack of access to treatment of heart disease. Page 43 of Tuesday Vanguard newspaper.
Okay, as I told you earlier, we bring to you headlines on our daily newspaper from Nigeria, and we are still watching ABN TV. Okay, I have another paper here with me, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and it's Thursday Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Ayo.
I have Thursday The Nation newspaper.
Okay, on the front page of Thursday Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Tinubu begins reconciliation moves. Tinubu begins reconciliation moves, meets with APC, NWC. The details is on page 3 of Thursday Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
And on the front page of Thursday The Nation newspaper, Senate split over passage of 2019 elections order bill.
Okay, still on the front page of Thursday Nigerian Tribune, South African President Jacob Zuma resigns.
This story is coming to you from page 5 of Thursday The Nation newspaper. Soldiers kill vigilante free herdsmen. A member of a vigilant group at Obadori community in Ipobia Oka local government of Edo State, Mr. Ife Igbovia, has been shot dead by soldier. Soldier killed vigilante free herdsmen. Page 5 of Thursday The Nation newspaper.
Okay, this story is coming from page 2 of Thursday Nigerian Tribune newspaper. How Misau buried 23 school children. Orders. For the people of Misau in Bauchi State, Tuesday, February 13, 2018, will remain indelible in their memories. A day of sad story which will be remembered for a long time to come. It was a date that the town was visited with a tragedy that claimed the life of 25 sons and daughters of the town, comprising 23 students and 2 teachers of Junior Secondary School Misau. They lost their life in a ghastly accident on Kano Road. How Misau buried 23 school children. Orders.
On page 6 of Thursday The Nation newspaper, Senate split over passage of 2019 elections order bill. The House of Representatives adopted the conference committee report on the amendment to the Electoral Act 2010 and 2015 without a debate. At the committee of the whole House chaired by Speaker Yakubu Dogara, Edward Prajo, who led his colleagues to the conference committee, said 7 areas of disagreement between both chambers were addressed and resolved. Senate split over passage of 2019 elections order bill. Page 6 of Thursday The Nation newspaper.
Troops killed 186 insurgents rescued 3,745 people in Northeast, says official. The Nigerian Army said on Wednesday that its troops had killed 186 Boko Haram insurgents in the ongoing clearance operation in Sambisa Forest and Lake Chad region in the past 1 month. Troops killed 186 insurgents, rescued 3,745 people in Northeast, says official. The story is coming from the page 6 of Thursday Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
And on the page 9 of Thursday, the Nation newspaper, Buhari to Christian at length, pray for Nigeria's unity progress. President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with Christians on the solemn occasion of beginning of this year Lenten season, as they join their counterparts worldwide to emulate the worldly example of Jesus Christ, who fasted 40 days at the beginning of his earthly ministry. The president urged both Christian brothers and sisters to pray fervently for their country, unity and progress. Buhari to Christians at length, pray for Nigeria's unity progress. Page 9 of Thursday, the Nation newspaper.
Still on Thursday, Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and on page 20, Delta Assembly said to clamp down on illegal private schools. Delta State government is said to shut down all unapproved and unregistered private educational institutions operating in the state. Delta Assembly said to clamp down on illegal private schools. The details is on page 20 of Thursday Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
And this story is coming to you from page 20 of Thursday The Nation newspaper. PDP, AAU disagree over funding status. The People's Democratic Party and management of the Ambrose Ali University, ECOMA, have disagreed over funding of the institution. State chairman of the PDP, Chief Dan Obi, had accused Governor Godwin Obaseki of deliberately abandoning the AAU through poor funding while providing adequate funding for Edo University.
Okay.
PDP, AAU disagree over funding status. Page 20 of Thursday, The Nation newspaper.
Okay, on page 29 of Thursday Nigerian Tribune newspaper, INEC increases CVR centers from 774 to 1,446, registers 4 million Nigerians to commence distribution of PVC by May, in response to complaints of Nigerians on the dearth of continuous voters registration CVR centers across the country. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on Wednesday said it had increased the number of CVR centers from 774 local government areas to 1,446 local government to 1,446. INEC increases CVR centers from 774 to 1,446, registers 4 million Nigerians to commence distribution of PVC by May.
Lastly, on Thursday, The Nation newspaper, Ambode donates 365 million naira mobile clinic for cancer diagnosis treatment. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode donates a mobile cancer center for diagnosis and treatment of cancer-related disease. Ambode donates 365 million naira mobile clinic for cancer diagnosis treatment.
Okay, lastly, on Thursday, Nigerian Tribune newspaper, police arrest 4 suspected armed bandits. Police arrest 4 suspected armed bandits over killing of filling station manager in Bauchi. Bauchi State Police Command has arrested 4 suspected armed robbers, including a female, in connection with the killing of a filling station manager, one Usman Suleiman. Police arrest 4 suspected armed bandits over killing of filling station manager in Bauchi. The details is on page 31 of Thursday Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
Finally, on our paper review for this week, I have the Nigerian Tribune paper with me. Bukola, which one are you having there?
Okay, with me I have a Vanguard newspaper.
On the front page of Nigerian Tribune paper, fuel scarcity, NEC NNPC to interface on correct petrol pricing.
Okay, on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, Friday Vanguard newspaper, Nigeria not troubled by declining crude oil price, says Kachiku, and the detail is on page 9 of Friday Vanguard newspaper.
And lastly, on Friday Tribune newspaper, NSCDC officer killed by herdsmen awaiting promotion results. Benue State Command of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) has said one of its officers killed by herdsmen during the week was awaiting results of his promotion examination. NSCDC officer killed by herdsmen awaiting promotion results. Page 29 of Friday Tribune newspaper.
And lastly, on page 16 of Vanguard newspaper, Ugborodo Isekiri urged government security operatives to sustain peace. Isekiri leaders of thought Hilot has enjoined security operatives to sustain peace in Ugborodo community, Warri Southwest local government area, Delta State, appealing that they should ensure that those behind the recent criminal activities in the area were brought to justice. Isekiri urged government security operatives to sustain peace. And with this, we wrap it up on this segment, newspaper highlights for the week.
Viewers at home, we hope you will enjoy the first segment of today's program. We want to go to the streets on our social variety today. Stay tuned.
A trait about the little trots of dangers is now common among driver and motorists plying road nowadays, where loss of life and property have become the order of the day. This is the topic we are going to consider on the social variety segment for today. And with me here, I have a driver. What is your name, sir?
My name is Wale.
Mr. Wale, are you a driver?
Yes, of course.
Okay, what can you say about reckless driving?
And the reckless driving you are talking of, which Yoruba call Aibikita. So to me, I see it as a very high risk. Because if someone is just driving without care, because if something happen now, it may also happen to you also. If there is life, is then you said you will be struggling. If there is no more life, there will be nothing to do again. So to my own advice to the rest of the drivers is that they should keep concentrate on what they are doing and thinking of say, if I can do this, if this can affect me, it may affect others also. So they should stop drinking, chucking, smoking cigarettes or any other alcohol. That is my own advice, and just to stop it. So drive normal and safety. That is all, Auntie.
Okay, on the issue of a Federal Road Safety Corps, where their own is to just check the driver license, that's all. What can you say about this?
Well, you mean road safety? They are only to check driving license only, or the spare tire, whatever. If they are to add it, either to check the drivers before they can give them the driving license, I don't know. If they can check if their head is okay, or because some of drivers, they have something called hypertensive, right? If I'm correct. So when we have sun now, some of them, the temper will rise a bit. They will start be angry with some drivers. So they will know actual time that this person has to drive, or this can drive a full day. We have there's something called full day. You drive from morning to night, right? So there are some driver which they cannot drive like that. Afternoon time, they can only drive day, but afternoon time they might not be able to drive. And there are some other drivers also which they cannot drive at night, because to some of driver, if they are driving at night, they may not, if the light flash their eyes, that may cause them to misdrive, right? So that is, to me, that have caused many damage to many people's life for night driving. So for that, they need to look onto that. So if they can, they look for the people that can drive night. If they can or not, they will say that these people will drive night, will drive day. That is normal driving to me. But there are some people that can drive day, which they may not drive night driving. They need to focus on that. And again, there are some questions that they need to ask the driver to being a driver. First thing driver has to do before the driver can start driving the vehicle in the morning, you check the oil, you check the brake fluid, the tire, if the tire is okay, your wheel, spanner, and jack, everything, let everything be in order before you can start driving the vehicle. Is the gear has problem, or you sit in a normal position? If the driver can do that, I think our life will be safe. To me, if road safety can do that, they will call them and ask them, bring them for the training before they can even issue the driving license to them. It's not that when they come on that and ask them some question, after that, when they finish that, give them the driving license. It's not to me. I would like them to even give them much training before they can issue the driving license. That is all to me.
Okay, Mr. Wale, do you even know the speed limit in Nigeria?
Yes, of course, I do. I think 100, that is 100 to me. Normal speed limit is 100. In Nigeria, yes, normal is 100.
Okay, what is your advice for motorists plying the road?
Yes, of course. To me, if I'm to advise them, though, depend on the place you are going. Like now, somebody is going from here to Kaduna, which we know the hours, the normal hour they need to take. Let's say 8 or 9 hours. Some would like to take 10 hours. 7 hours. See, I would like to meet up quickly so that I will come back quickly. You are not the one who owns the time and everything. It's God. So you need to put all your focus onto God, and you know the normal thing to do, you do it. So may God be our guidance. That is my own advice to them. That is all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wale. You've heard it from Mr. Wale that God is the only protector that protects human beings. And you have to keep the speed limits. Oh yes, the program is still AM Plus from ABN TV, receiving from its correspondent office, Oshogbo, Osun State, Nigeria. And we proceed on the topic we are considering, reckless driving among the drivers. I am in the office of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Oshogbo. I have with me the Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps in Osun State. Sir, what is your name, sir? My name is
Corps Commander Anthony Oko, Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Osun State.
So, sir, what can you say about reckless driving?
Yeah, reckless driving is a disease. I call it a disease. It's a disease that we are trying to remove. It's like a cancer. We want to surgically remove it. And we are working hard to it because we are running public enlightenment, grassroots public enlightenment, in order to change the people's view about driving. And that in order to equally make people to have patience, in order to make people to have a feel for the fellow human being, in order to make the people to know that the result of reckless driving is fatality and serious injury that might lead to people, when we mention fatality, is death. Serious injury may disable the person for life. The two of them will lead to serious issues whereby it will go and affect the livelihood of the person It's going to affect the livelihood and well-being of the family. And then at the end of the day, poverty sets in. Overall assessment, the society will never be the same again. And also, the society will be the loser. The family will be the loser. So the long and short of it is this: we have to be proactive and checkmate this monster. And how do we do it? By running public enlightenment and enforcement, serious enforcement on the highway. And these are the things. So when it happens, we carry out quick response, in order to save the victim and stabilize their health, so that they don't die, so that we will be able to see what we can do to still keep them alive. So reckless driving, we are on the highway, we are enforcing the law, we are not laughing, we are on the spot, carrying out public enlightenment, and at the same time enforcing the law, apprehending the culprits, and then issuing fines to them, apportioning fines to them, and then they will have to have a feel of it. So those of them who continue to commit the offense often and often, who will send them for emotional psychological tests. In fact, who we now recommend them to go to a well-known hospital facility for it to be done. So this will enable them, this will make them to know that we are really serious about it. And definitely it will be documented, because we have a database whereby all these things are documented. Of course, it's going to affect seriously the person's personality in future, in whatever thing he wants to be, whatever thing he wants to go out for. You see, so these are some of the things we have put in place in order to checkmate recklessness on the highway.
Okay, recently there was an accident of 23 students and 2 teachers when they embarked on the journey to...
From where to where?
From Benue State.
Yes.
When they embarked on their journey to one TV station on the basis that they want to do excursion.
Yes.
We have 5 persons who lost their life too in Niger State, this week. Just tell us the plans by road safety to curb or to eradicate this loss of life.
You see, road safety have been on this particular project right from its establishment in 1988. As I'm talking to you, we are celebrating 30 years in existence, and we have come up with many policy frameworks that guides us in bringing to the very level insanity on the highway, so that people will understand that if you are patient behind steering and you have done the right thing, crashes will reduce to a very level. I want to tell you that the presence of Federal Road Safety Corps at 50 kilometers radius is aimed at being proactive in checkmating road traffic crash. I want to tell you that most of the crashes are as a result of speed, and as a result of people who are not actually well trained to be behind steering. We are getting them gradually and making them to suffer, to pay for their recklessness. Yes, I want to tell you that we are equally going to court, because any crash that leads to people dying, we will take those people to court and try them, and then they will go to jail for that. That's the new rule now. That's the new rule. So it's something that is going on now. Recklessness much as we are working on the issue of public enlightenment and working on the issue of enforcement, but the punishment is there for the culprits to go to court and then be behind bars for some years, and then believing that by the time they come out, there will be sanity on the highway. We are preaching that there should not be speed. The recklessness is as a result of speed.
So what is the speed limit?
The speed limit in Nigeria, depending on particular vehicle we are using, is 100 km/h. And then 100 km/h, if you go beyond 100 km/h, you are violating the speed limit, standard speed limit in Nigeria. Why we now decide to put, keep it at that is for the vehicle to be easily controlled if we have any mishap. In case of tire burst, in case of maybe untoward something happened like brake failure, or something does coming in like an animal or whatever crossing the road and you are mashing the brake, so that you will be able to control it and within that speed limit. But if anything higher than that speed limit, of course, it's always very yes, it's always very dangerous, and then fatalities are much higher. So that is why we are road safety everywhere at strategic places, and to carry out enforcement while the public enlightenment continues unabated, and the roadshow continues. Interface, that is meeting with the stakeholders in the parks, not only commercial motor operators, but even trade unionists, because they have associations. We meet with them, various groups. We are talking with them, so that we take the message down to the grassroots. Once people internalize the message, of course sanity will come into them, and then we'll be able to carry out obey the rules and regulations, the traffic laws. But whereby sometimes they forget and they are apprehended. Of course, the law will take its course because we prosecute them. Of course, we are going to find them.
Thank you very much, Commander Okon. Okay, it is on this note to wrap it up on social practice. Edit from Commander. Abide the rules of traffic. Don't be a leader.
Welcome back, viewers at home. Hope you've enjoyed the second segment of this program, which we discuss on reckless driving on the road.
Okay, Ayo, I hope you can even learn some things about the reckless driving on the road.
Yes.
And they also make sure the road safety corps commander even let us to know that your life, you can't replace it.
Yes.
Since you lose it, you are a loser forever. So just make sure you stay alive. Drive to stay alive.
While driving, don't drink.
Okay, let's go straight. Let's go and borrow a leaf from Mr. Ogini, where we'll go to know the importance of youth in our society. Sit back and enjoy the program.
Welcome once again to this program, Earth Matters. This is ABN TV Houston. This program is coming to you directly from Nigeria, Osun State. With me here is Dr.
My name is Dr. Atilolo Adeleke.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, viewers.
Nice meeting you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, the topic we are talking of today is diabetes mellitus. We just want to know what is the meaning of this disease?
Okay, thank you, the uncle. Diabetes mellitus is one of the chronic diseases. By chronic diseases, we mean it's a kind of disease that stays in the body for a very long period of time, and it's a non-communicable disease. Non-communicable disease because you cannot contact it by contact with another person, either through sexual intercourse or coughing or exchange of blood and all that. So we really cannot contact it through it. So we call it a non-communicable disease. And then to be specific now, diabetes mellitus is a disorder of a particular hormones. Hormones are small chemicals which the body produces. So the name of the hormone under question now is insulin. Insulin is produced from the pancreas. Okay, the pancreas is located within the abdominal cavity. This pancreas secretes these smaller hormones which we call insulin. And the function of insulin is to convert glucose. When you and I eat all sorts of things, be it rice, be it garbage, be it any kind of food that we eat, the body will automatically convert it to glucose. Okay, so the glucose will be useful to the body, but the other ones, the excess of it, need to be stored up for future purposes. Now, this insulin hormone is the one responsible for conversion of this glucose into the storageable one, or the storageable format, which we call glycogen. Now imagine when you don't have this insulin, that means you have a lot of excess glucose all over the body, all over the bloodstream, and that is the how will I put it in a simple term, in ABCD of diabetes. When you have excess of glucose in the blood as a result of either absolute or relative deficiency of that small hormones which you call insulin. So that is the definition, or that is the simple explanation of diabetes mellitus. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Yes, we are all aware of this diabetes mellitus. They are of different types.
That's correct.
But please, can you just name them and shed more light on them?
Okay, thank you. Earlier on, I said from the explanation of the diabetes, that there is either relative or absolute deficiency of the hormones, which we talk about the insulin, as the cause of diabetes mellitus. Now, this deficiency, from that premise, we can now classify it into type 1, type 2, gestational diabetes mellitus, and others, which I'm going to explain. For type 1 diabetes mellitus, there is absolute deficiency of insulin, which means there is no insulin at all being produced from the pancreas. We usually see this most of the time among the children. Before age 1, age 2, age 3, age 4, age 5. That is when we normally pick them. If a young baby should come to me with symptoms in keeping with diabetes, which we are still going to talk about, most likely I can put my money on it that it's most likely going to be a type 1 diabetes mellitus. In them, there is complete absence of insulin hormone in them, so the body is not producing insulin. So most of the time they live their life on what we call exogenous insulin, that is, we are going to be administering insulin in form of injection to them for the rest of their lives. So that is type 1 diabetes mellitus. In type 2 diabetes mellitus, yes, the pancreas is producing insulin. Is either the insulin being produced is not adequate, that's one, or is not functioning very well. And usually we see this in people older than 40, but of late we've started seeing it in people younger than that. We started seeing it in people in their 30s, 35, 34, 30.
You mean diabetes?
Coming down with type 2 diabetes mellitus, which initially we used to see it in the people older than 40 years. Okay, most of the time those people are of the big size, they are obese, they are old as compared to type 1, which, they are younger kids and they have to live the rest of their life on insulin. For type 2, not relative, not absolutely. Some of them could live on medication, whereas other people, we might need to augment them with at a point in time with insulin. But it's just a relative deficiency, not absolute, as seen in type 1 diabetes mellitus. The third one is what we call gestational diabetes mellitus. This is usually seen among pregnant women. Okay, a non-diabetic woman that comes to the hospital, now following the routine antenatal screening, We saw sugar in the blood or in the urine. Then we went further to screen the woman, and then we were able to make the diagnosis of diabetes in a non-diabetic patient, a pregnant woman that was not diabetic before pregnancy, but along the line develop a diabetes during pregnancy. So that is what we call gestational diabetes mellitus. Then we have the other group that we call others. Others encompasses all sorts of things that could cause diabetes. For instance, people that are on long-standing chronic use of steroid drugs like dexamethasone. Our ladies are beginning to use that. They said they want their breasts to be enlarged or to enlarge their buttocks. And so they give them all sort of steroid, dexamethasone, prednisolone, and also for patients, some patients that we need to give some of these drugs, especially some with some reaction, people with nephrotic syndrome, that they have to be on high dose steroid for a very long period of time. Some of them along the line might develop some of these signs and symptoms of diabetes mellitus. So when we see diabetes mellitus in such people, we tag them under others. The class 4, which you call others, diabetes mellitus. Not only that, people with other infection of the pancreas. Don't forget, I told you that pancreas is that organ within the abdominal cavity that produces the insulin that we talked about. So when they have some of these diseases affecting this pancreas, like pancreatitis, which is like inflammation or infection of the pancreas, some of them could come down with some of these symptoms of diabetes mellitus. So to recap, we have type 1, which we normally see among the younger people, and those one will require insulin for the rest of their life. We have type 2, we see it in people in their 40s, but now I told you it's beginning to come down to 30, 35, we're beginning to see it among them. And in those people, they do produce insulin, but it's either the insulin is deficient, is not enough, or is not functioning very well. Then we talk about gestational diabetic mellitus, which we said we see in pregnant mothers. They don't have diabetes before, and all of a sudden during pregnancy they develop it, or it might be at the discretion of the physician or the obstetrician attending to such pregnant women. We find out that this woman is having big babies, or is having recurrent abortion, or is having stillbirth, or is having child that were born with all sorts of abnormalities. So when we see that, we want to screen for that. And if we find out that such mother is diabetic, we classify them under gestational diabetic mellitus. Then the others, which I said will occur from other things like people on long-standing steroid use and disease of the pancreas. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adeleke.
You're welcome.
We are appreciating that. But the only thing I want you to shed more light is how common is this disease to the environment or to the people there?
Well, diabetes mellitus is a very, 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 very common disease. It's so common now that it has assumed a global epidemic. Is that much? The latest statistics shows that the global figure is well above 400 million people. The population of the world is probably around 2 billion, 3 billion. And then when you have almost 1/4, or let me be generous now, 1/5 of the total world population having a disease, then it's a big deal. It's a very big deal.
Thank you, Doctor. Very brief, because we are out of time already. But I just wanted to talk very brief on the complications of this disease.
Well, there are a lot of complications that are associated with diabetes mellitus. You can start thinking about it from the head to the toe. Okay, but the common ones include blindness. Of course, diabetes has a way of messing up with the eye. We call it diabetic retinopathy. Of course, the person will start telling you, I'm beginning to have blurred vision, I can't see clearly. When I go, it's like I'm having cloudy vision. Of course, when you see that, it could be a complication of diabetes mellitus that is not well managed. Okay, yeah, people do have what we call diabetic nephropathy. Diabetes has a way of destroying some of the constituents of the kidney and can shut the kidney down. In fact, it's one of the commonest cause of chronic kidney disease too, and can make a mess of the kidney. Again, diabetes could affect the nerves of the body, which we call diabetic neuropathy. People will tell you I'm having paresthesia. It's like something is crawling on my legs. It's like I'm wearing a tissue on my leg, whereas there's nothing on my leg and all that. Okay, all this could actually be pointed to complications of diabetes mellitus. Also, we talk about erectile dysfunction, of course, in male, especially because of it could be due to two things: from the blood supply to the penis, and then from the nerve supply to the penis, which could be affected by diabetes mellitus at the same time. It could cause it. Then we talk about atherosclerosis, which can ultimately affect the heart, affect the brain, and all sorts. All these could be complications of diabetes mellitus. Again, earlier on, I told you that some people, the first time they are aware that they are having diabetes is after they fainted at home, or they became confused and they rushed them. Okay, those are another complications of diabetes mellitus, which we call diabetic ketoacidosis and hyperosmolar hyperglycemic states, because the sugar will be in excess, find its way to the brain, cause all sorts of things, and then the person will faint, and that is when they will rush that patient down to the hospital for evaluation and then the other treatment. But before this could happen, I've told you, because of the nervous affectation by the diabetes mellitus, it could actually destroy some of the nerves and the blood vessels supplying the leg, leading to amputation, leading to what we call diabetic foot. When they have wound, the wound will not get well, and then the leg will start dying. And a dying leg is very useless to the body, leading to what we call amputation. So it is in the modern day now, it is not a good thing to hear of, that people are losing their limbs, they are losing their legs because of diabetes mellitus, which can be treated effectively well. If you ask me for my advice would be, let's individual and group of people go for routine medical checkup, even if it's not more than twice in a year. Let them run all these tests for you, and if there's any issue with any of the system, we can know early and institute appropriate treatment early before all these complications will set in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Yes, viewers at home, drawing the curtain of this program. With me on the program is Dr. Adeleke. It's nice time having you on the program.
You're welcome, sir.
I'm Ayobami Salako, and behind the camera is Tosin Adedokun. If you have any question to ask, you can just drop your question lines or the address that is going on the here now. Till next week, when we shall meet. Bye bye.
Okay, welcome back. It's time to go straight to our culture segment, when we brought to you the culture, our cultural heritage. Just sit back, enjoy it. Don't go away.
Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa nílé ní gbogbo bí o tí ojúmọ́ ti mọ́ wá, mo kí yín tẹ̀sọ́tẹ̀sọ́, mo kí yín tológun. Ìhà yín tí a kalẹ̀ sí lónìí, ohun tí a máa gbéyẹ̀wò náà ni iṣẹ́ ọnà tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ère gbígbẹ́. Pàápàá jùlọ bí bàbá wa Sunday Olúgbénlé David Woodcarver tí wọ́n fi ìkàlẹ̀ sí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun, pàápàá jùlọ ní ìlú Òṣogbo, bí wọ́n ṣe máa bá wa nà ń bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe àlàyé fún wa kí ni ohun tí a ń pè ní ère, kí ló bí ère, orísun ère gbígbẹ́, àti pàápàá bó la ṣe máa gbẹ́ ère àti iṣẹ́ tí ère ń ṣe ní àwùjọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí iṣẹ́ ọnà. Orúkọ tèmi ò yí padà, Ẹ̀sìnkáyọ̀ ọmọ Adéwọlé lèmi jẹ́, ẹ máa bá wa ká lọ. Bàbá wa ẹ kú ojúmọ́ o.
Yes, sir.
Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ o.
Yes, sir.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá ń dárúkọ yín fún gbogbo ará ilé tó ń wò wá.
Orúkọ tèmi ni Olúgbénlé Sunday David.
Olúgbénlé Sunday David
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
tí a mọ̀ sí Agbẹ́gilére. Ìlú wo ni ẹ tẹ̀dó sí tí a ti wá bá yín yìí?
Ìlú Òṣogbo náà ni mo wà yìí, ní ọ̀nà ojúbọ Ọ̀ṣun.
Ìlú Òṣogbo lọ́nà tó lọ sí òpópónà ojúbọ Ọ̀ṣun.
Ká tó débi géètì.
Ẹ dákun bàbá wa, ta ni alákòóso iléeṣẹ́ Agbẹ́gilére tá a wà yìí?
Èmi gangan náà ni.
Bàbá kára ó le.
Yes, sir.
Ẹ ò ní sì ṣe.
Àmì ò àmì.
Ọgbọ́n mọ̀ ọkùn ọgbọ́n yín.
Àmì.
Kí ni orísun ère gbígbẹ́? Kí ló bí ère?
Ohun tó bí ère náà ni pé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá kí òyìnbó kó tó kó fọ́tò dé ló mú kí àwọn gbẹ́gilére wà.
kéèbó gan tó kó fọ́tò dé.
gbogbo artist ní gbogbo ayé lónìí agbẹ́gilére ni #1.
agbẹ́gilére ńlá kọ́kọ́.
àkọ́kọ́ níṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tí ò sí pé bóyá ẹnìkan kọ látọwọ́ ẹnìkan.
tó tá a bá ń sọ nípa èrè gbígbẹ́ tá lẹ́ni àkọ́kọ́ gbèrè àbí.
gẹ́gẹ́ bá a ti ṣe máa ń gbọ́ nínú ìtàn kérù àwa náà tó tún dé bàtà àsìdé à ń gbọ́ pé Làgbàyí.
Làgbàyí agbẹ́gilére àkọ́kọ́ nílẹ̀ kóòtù òjíire nílẹ̀ Yorùbá Làgbàyí. tó ọmọ ìlú wo ni Làgbàyí yẹn ibo ló tẹ̀dó sí ìgbà ayé tiẹ̀.
gbogbo gbàtà wá sì dìde bí i pé Kwara State lèmi.
ọmọ Ìlọrin lẹ́yìn Kwara.
lèmi jẹ́ so ìlú Làgbàyí àwa ò béèrè ṣùgbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ṣe gbọ́ nínú ìtàn pé Làgbàyí ni ẹni àkọ́kọ́
tó kọ́kọ́ gbẹ́ ère.
ṣùgbọ́n ère sì ní iṣẹ́ Ògún ni.
iṣẹ́ Ògún
ni máa ń gbẹ́ ère láti ilẹ̀ wá. Ògún ni ẹni àkọ́kọ́ tó kọ́kọ́ gbẹ́ ère kó tó di pé àwọn
Làgbàyí náà gbà á tó fi wá di tẹrútọmọ tó tàn kálé tàn kákó. ẹ ṣeun bàbá wa Dáfídì tí a bá ń sọ nípa ère gbígbẹ́ iṣẹ́ wo ni ère ń ṣe láwùjọ wa.
iṣẹ́ tí ère ń ṣe náà ni mo kọ́kọ́ sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé iṣẹ́ ère ló jẹ́ ká mọ gbogbo àwọn akọni tó jẹ́ olórìṣà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá torí pé àwọn gbẹ́gilére dàbí nǹkan tí a fi ń ṣe ìrántí bóyá àmì nǹkan kan kì í ṣe pé àwòrán èèyàn nìkan ó lè bó ṣe di bó ṣe òkúta.
so ère gbígbẹ́ la fi ń ṣe àmì
ní àbíyá fọ́tò nígbà náà
nírántí ń ta fẹ́ ká má gbàgbé.
àwòrán lágbájá bó ṣe rí ní làbáyé ló kọ yálà ó kọ́la tàbí kò kọ́la làbáyé ló kọ tọ̀ nígbà tí ò sí fọ́tò gbẹ́gilére ni ó gbẹ bó ṣe rí nígbà náà bóyá máa ń gorí ẹṣin ni o bóyá kì í gorí ẹṣin ni bóyá òòṣà yìí orí ẹṣin ni máa ń gùn tó jẹ́ pé nísìn ẹlòmíín kan dédé gbé òòṣà kan tí èègùn orí ẹṣin tí ó kàn máa sọ̀kan tí ò bá mu.
ẹ ṣeun ẹ kú ohun bàbá wa Dáfídì tó a jẹ́ pé ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn bàbá wa sẹ́nu o wọ́n ní bọ́mọ ò bàbá tàn yóò bá àrọ́bá bàbá tàn ère gbígbẹ́ òní ń fún wa ní àrọ́bá àwọn tàn akọni tó ti lọ.
látìgbà náà títí di sìn.
èbó ti wá sayédèrò ní èbó ń fi àwòrán rọ́pò ti wọn ẹ̀yin ń fi igi gbígbẹ́ ẹ fi ń ṣe ìrántí ìtàn.
a ó rí i pé lọ́dọ̀ àwọn òyìnbó gan di sìn ló sì níyì pé iṣẹ́ ọnà.
ère gbígbẹ́ gan sì ti níyì.
dídì sìn ni ère gbígbẹ́ ló níyì lọ́dọ̀ àwọn òyìnbó ṣùgbọ́n àwọn èèyàn wa ń bì ìhà tí wọ́n kọ sí láti gbé ẹ̀sìn wọ̀bì iṣẹ́ ọnà tí ò sì bá mu èmi gangan bí mo ṣe wà yìí mo níjọ mo ní ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì tó ẹ̀sìn òkan iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ kò ẹni tó bá gbọ́n tó sì mọ̀ nípa ọ̀nà dáadáa ọ̀nà túmọ̀ sí the righteous àwọn olóògbé ọmọ pé righteous nǹkan tó wà righteous nǹkan tó
tọ̀nà tó bójúmu tó bófin mu.
kò parẹ́ ó sì ń gbayì láti gbà yẹn ní títí sí ni ó tún gbayì sí nísìn ni torí pé righteous thing ni so ọ̀nà dẹ̀ ní nígbà tó ti jẹ́ pé ní ó jẹ́ nǹkan tí kò ṣe é mọ́ ṣe tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo àwọn òrìṣà tí wọ́n ń ṣe yìí.
gbogbo àwọn akọni àwọn òrìṣà tá fi ń
dá wọn mọ̀ nìwọ̀nyí tá fi ń dá wọn mọ̀.
ẹ ṣeun bàbá tá a bá ń sọ nípa iṣẹ́ ọnà pàápàá jùlọ agbẹ́gilére tí à ń sọ nípa rẹ̀ yìí ṣé igi kígi lẹ fi gbẹ́ ni àbí bó lẹ ṣe mọ àbí ó lójú igi tí a lè fi gbẹ́ ìlú.
ó lójú igi tá a lè lò torí igi tó bá jẹ mọ́ ọ̀nà tí ò lè mọ́ ká tàbí tí ò lè mọ́ sán.
òkìgì tí ò lè sán tí ò lè ká.
àwọn àrìn kan tún wà tó jẹ́ pé kò sígi tí kì í sán tó bá dé àsìkò kan nínú igbó tó bá dé àsìkò kan bóyá ẹgbẹ́ lásìkò tí ò yẹ kẹ́ ẹ gé yóò sán kó kígi mọ́mọ́ sán kó jẹ́ black ebony tó bá tẹ́ bá gé láwọn àsìkò kan
tí ò yẹ ká gé yóò sán
tàbí gé e ju ẹgbẹ́ lásìkò tí ò yẹ
ká gé
yóò ju.
pàápàá jùlọ ká pé àti mójúlẹ́jà àwọn àkókò ìgbà àti bó ṣe yẹ ká gé àwọn igi ká pé àti mọ̀ yẹn àwọn igi ìwó gangan lẹ lè ṣe àlàyé pé ó dáa fún iṣẹ́ ọnà ní ṣíṣe.
bí kálukú bá ṣe rí ni ìṣẹ̀mọ̀ pé ìlú nísìn a lè fi igi ìrókò gbẹ́lù.
èèwọ̀ wà ń bẹ̀ ni.
nítorí pé kò sí èèwọ̀ kan ju pé ó le kò sí gbẹ́ náà ni.
kò sí gbẹ́
wọ́n fi ìrókò gbẹ́lú aláàrí gbogbo níbẹ̀ nígbó ká tó fi ọmọ gbẹ́gbẹ̀dú. irú àwọn bí ọmọ nísìn ìlú ni.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
àràbà bẹ́ ọpọ́n ìrókò bóyá bí èrè òsàpọ̀n tàbí ìrókò olúwérí náà bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ní òun ló identify.
fún àpẹẹrẹ irú èyí tí ẹ̀ ń gbẹ́ lọ́wọ́ eré kí ni eléyìí ń ṣe àkàwé.
eré Ògún ni.
eré Ògún rèé.
eléyìí jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé ní ìtàn Ògún.
ìtàn Ògún ẹ bá ń gbé náà rú kí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wa.
bóyá tóògùn bá lọ sí oko ọdẹ bó ṣe máa ń ru ẹran.
bógun ṣe máa ń ru ẹran.
bí ó ṣe ru ẹran. fìlà tẹ́rì yìí ò ní ibi tó máa ń ju bí àwọn ìpín
ewu kankan
tí ó máa jù sí.
àpò àpamọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ ló fi fìlà ṣe.
ajá tó máa ń mú dání tí ó máa fi dẹ inú gbogbo tí ó máa fi.
ajá ti fi ń ṣọdẹ.
tí ó máa fi rú àwọn ẹranko jáde tó
ni wọ́n ń bọn. so eré Ògún lélẹ́yìí. so kì í dùn ó pọ̀ sókí báyìí náà lọ bí oge. lórí ètò yín ètò wa ètò tí ń ṣíni létí ètò tí ń kọ́ni lọ́gbọ́n ètò Tiwa Láṣà ó náà la wà. iléeṣẹ́ Aníyìkáyé ní ABN television náà ni a sì ti ń tagbà sí orí afẹ́fẹ́. ètò tí wọ́n ò bá fẹ́ wọ̀ yá àjà o ètò tí wọ́n ń bá afẹ́fẹ́ rẹ ni ètò tí ń ṣíni létí náà sì ni ètò tí ìjẹ́ ká gbàgbé ìṣẹ̀rù ẹni tí kì í jẹ́ ká gbàgbé bí a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò yín Tiwa Láṣà. wọ́n ní bọ́mọ ò bá bá tàn yóò bá àrọ́bá àrọ́bá sì ní bàbá àtàn. ètò náà tí ń ṣíni létí rẹ o tí ò jẹ́ àgbàgbé ìtàn ibi àti ṣẹ̀wá ètò Tiwa Láṣà. ká tó mọ̀ fìyí ṣe lọ iléeṣẹ́ Aníyìkáyé ni mo ti sọ ṣáájú lórúkọ olóòtú mi Ayọ̀bámi ọmọ Sàlàkọ́ ni mò ń kí yín pé títí di ọjọ́ mi ìta tó pàdé ayàwòrán mi ìbànújẹ́ oníkan Ọlá ọmọ Láwóore ẹsẹ̀ ọpẹ́ pàtàkì lọ́wọ́ olóòtú àgbà ìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run Pọ́ọ̀lù ọmọ Arówólò mo kí yín tẹ̀sán mo kí yín tológun títí dọjọ́ mi ọjọ́ ìta tó pàdé káfíre pàdé o ire o.
Bukola, before the invention of photograph or camera, all this thing, we learned that they've been using something to represent someone
yes.
in the holding this. So what can you say about that?
Yes, as you can even recall from what that man told us earlier on, that these statues is used to cite an image.
Yes.
It represents an image. It can be human being, it can be a tree. If they want to just copy, they want to just get an image of a person or anything, they will just sit down, use the wood to carve it, so that they can even get the structure, the fitted image of that.
Okay, so you are saying that it can even be used to immortalize
yes,
someone.
very well. We have a lot of it around the town. I hope you enjoyed that segment, our cultural heritage.
Yes.
Where we showcase our culture. What about you? What are you doing in your own country?
Yes.
Okay, it is on this note we wrap it up on today's edition of AM Plus, brought to you from ABN TV Correspondent Office, Oshogbo, Osun State, Nigeria. I'm Bukola Olushola, and my co-anchor
Ayọ̀bámi Sàlàkọ́.
Okay, until next time when we bring to you another package, exciting edition of AM Plus to you, I say bye-bye.
And keep watching ABN TV Houston.